Mariko Tamaki and Matthew Rosenberg return with their action-packed romps through the future state Gotham as Bruce continues his investigation into the Magistrate, finding a terrifying new secret as Grifter and Luke Fox team with the Huntress to escape the city, but the Magistrate and the Black Mask Syndicate come for the heroes hard. Mariko Tamaki wonderfully sends her Bruce Wayne story into interesting territory, building really well off some of the things introduced last issue as Bruce continues to determine why exactly he was murdered and why are other CEOs in Gotham being murdered. I loved how saddling Bruce with a crazy conspiracy theorist has made him begin to question his own reality, leading to a wonderful bit of visual poetry with Bruce himself becoming the crazy guy for once and talking about micro-drones spying on everyone and weird signals people can't see. His run-in with Batman was perfectly done as well, as any lesser writer probably would have built the issue around that solely, with them both finding a reason to battle one another in a big, loud and drawn-out fight. But I love that Mariko just gives them a brief moment together before they both go back to their respective missions and books. Matthew Rosenberg, meanwhile, finishes up his wonderful Grifter storyline with a lovely twist at the end and more hilarious action comedy with Cole Cash and Luke Fox. I very much enjoyed the twist happening at the end that I didn't particularly see coming, and again it adds more drama to the Fox family, which I'm really hoping we get to see a little bit more of in the next Batman issue. I enjoyed the story also gave us a cool look at the Peacekeepers and that there is something more to them as well, seeing as they can now survive being literally burned alive, as we see Peacekeeper 8 this issue become pretty much a zombie who can still fight despite having literally no skin. It's quite a creepy visual, and I'm hoping we get a little bit more of that explained somewhere else. Dan Mora continues his brilliant artwork this issue, finally getting to draw both Batman together in some really absolutely stellar page spreads. I really loved the design he has for Bruce, especially over the last two issues, how he's this strung out, disheveled, tired and paranoid Bruce Wayne. It's a pretty fun look for a character as he descends into madness upon learning what has really become of the city. Carmine Di Giandomenico finishes up Rosenberg's story with some really lovely action-packed pages filled with explosions and cool robot designs, as well as some newer Huntress costumes, which I really like, just that they are just a slightly more realistic version of her usual costume, much like Grifter's costume is just a slightly more futuristic version of his normal costume. I loved how fast-paced his art is, and here it's in full display as much of the issue takes place on the back of a bike and in a big bike chase throughout the futuristic city. So we get a great sense of speed thanks to Carmine's art, as well as just great action and explosions, and it's all rendered wonderfully with Antonio Fabella's wonderful colours over the art. Future State Dark Detective Issue 3 was a fantastic continuation and ending to more of the Gotham-centric stories, delivering some fun twists and developments for characters like Luke Fox and what Bruce Wayne is up to now that he's gone a little bit insane thanks to learning the grand scale of the Magistrate's plans for Gotham. I'm very much looking forward to most of these stories continuing outside of Infinite Frontier since they've been absolutely fantastic here. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. Future State Dark Detective Issue 3 sees Carl Bennington's wife find the man has been murdered in his own home, shot in the head as he played his virtual golf. The woman calls for a medic as elsewhere, Bruce continues his investigation into the Magistrate, who announced the murder of Carl is connected to vigilante activity, which Bruce knows is wrong, but knows vigilantes do have a reason to want to kill a corporate tick like Carl, but why him in particular? Thinking that it has something to do with CB Enterprises, a shell company Carl set up to expand his market capital. Back at home, Bruce helps Noah set up an alarm on the roof which will help keep the aliens away before returning to his own conspiracy theories, thinking greed was the reason the CEO was murdered. Donning his costume, Batman gets to work, knowing Plexitech's public business was armor and he doubts Carl was killed over that, knowing he died for the same reasons Bruce Wayne did. Not because he was greedy, but because he was a threat to the magistrate's control of Gotham. As Batman watches the city, he zooms in on more of the micro-surveillance drones like the one he found before, deciding to engage in some fly fishing. Bruce sets up some electro-netting all over the city, which he uses to capture the micro-drones. The problem is that they explode once captured, meaning the magistrate have added a few security measures on top of the old Wayne Enterprises blueprints. Luckily, thanks to there being so many of the drones, Bruce works out a way to make them not explode, comparing it to deboning a very expensive fish. Soon, some of the larger magistrate drones arrive in the area, demanding he stop what he is doing, so Batman escapes down to the streets. But the drones give chase, opening fire on him and blasting the fire escape he grapples onto. Bruce smashes the drones apart as one comes at him from behind, but it too explodes as the next Batman appears, demanding to know who the Batman in front of him is and why he is out at night. Bruce thinks that this man is in his suit, but then reminds himself that Batman is a symbol, not a person, and Batman is dead. Bruce confronts Batman, saying that he's just going about his business, but Batman says that he's going to get hurt or killed, demanding the man stay home. Bruce hates looking at the guy wearing all of his gear, knowing it's like looking in a mirror except he can only hope the reflection knows what he's doing. The Batman head their separate ways as the next day, Bruce continues his work, finding the drones are literally everywhere, invading everyone's privacy with their 24-hour surveillance. He finds the drones are all connected to the same servers, so hacking one gives him access to all of their footage. So he uses that to pull up the ones that are near Carl's house, finding that 26 minutes before the first public police report of his death was issued, the peacekeepers were there, meaning if this was them who killed him, this goes right to the top of the magistrate. Bruce remembers being shot by Peacekeeper 1, knowing that this isn't the first time a government murders people in the streets. Bruce figures that Carl was murdered since he was about to sell the tech the magistrate used to grip the city with, and they murdered him since they had other tech they wanted from Wayne Enterprises, all of the things that Bruce hadn't put to market yet because they were too dangerous, and killing him would give them access to that. Outside, Hannah yells at her father, who is back up on the roof, ranting about alien signals yet again. Hannah says that aliens are both rare and want nothing to do with Noah, but the man says that he can hear something. They come down off the roof and back into the house, where Hannah yells at Bruce for helping Noah put the signal jammer up on the roof, but he says that he was going to take it down since it was doing no harm. But Hannah says that the house now beeps and who wants to live next door to that? She says that she already took it down, saying her father thinks that the world is messed up because of the things he's scared of, and the people like him and Bruce talk about the messed up world are just too lazy to fix what's actually wrong with it. Bruce says the woman doesn't even know him, but she leaves, saying that instead of Bruce helping her father with his alien signals, he needs to help him not die by keeping him off the roof. Bruce begins to wonder what Noah is exactly hearing, so grabbing his goggles, he heads to the roof, scanning the area and spotting 6 nanodrones following Hannah. He begins to follow her as well on his bike, knowing that she mentioned having many jobs, knowing he should have asked about it since he finds that she works at the Magistrate HQ. He knows that 6 drones following the woman doesn't really equate to a sound an encroaching alien presence would make, so heading back to the home, he checks the sky above the house, shocked to find there are literally thousands of drones all over the Gotham night sky, all of them watching Bruce and whatever else happens at the house. Bruce begins to wonder if he's walked into danger and stepped into a trap, causing him to take aback to all of his technology in his room, knowing the magistrate knows he's there and they are coming for him. Elsewhere, Huntress attacks Grifter, pointing her crossbow at Luke and telling him not to do anything. Grifter tells Huntress to cool down, but she attacks him even more once learning Cole is Grifter, saying that this is them talking about what happened between them. The heroes punch one another and Cole apologizes as Huntress says that he's either a moron or he has a death wish. Luke says he has both, revealing why they came there, showing her the red keycard containing the untraceable money, offering it up to Helena for her help. She says it depends on if the funds check out, activating her credit transfer machine, surprising Cole that she has one. Helena says that she was running a business, one he isn't meant to be anywhere near. Luke says that Cole is only looking out for him, but Helena says that Cole Cash only looks out for one person, himself. Helena checks the funds, finding that they are real, so she transfers $75,000 $100,000 for herself, ready to get Luke out of Gotham despite Grifter getting upset that she gets more than him. Huntress quiets him down as she hears someone asking if they were followed, but a gas grenade is shot into the room as the magistrate raid the building, finding a cloaked being only to discover it's just a mannequin with the Huntress's cloak on it. The mannequin is also holding a bomb that explodes as Huntress, Grifter and Luke escape on her motorbike. Huntress reassures Cole that no one was killed since she owns the whole block and the building was empty, except for maybe some cops. The drones soon give chase, firing on them as Grifter fires back, telling Huntress to hold it steady, despite the gunships firing on them. Huntress knows that they need to lose them, telling Cole to sit down since he's doing nothing against the armored gunships and drones. The bike heads into a construction site and Grifter spots some gas canisters. He shoots them and destroys the entire construction site, taking down the gunship as well, telling Huntress that he had it under control. Luke knows more will be there soon as Huntress takes them to another of her hideouts. Cole wants to get further away, but Huntress tells him that she doesn't work for him and he cost her another one of her buildings. Cole knows that Luke can just buy her another one if she keeps her promise, and Helena says she always does. Suddenly Grifter is tasered by Vale and the Black Mask Syndicate. Huntress tells her to stop, but the woman refuses until Cole pays for what he did to her an hour prior, surprising Helena, who says that he's been a busy boy. Helena says that her business is with Luke, and if Vale gets them to the docks, Grifter is hers. The villain says that she has Grifter right now, and she's not helping Huntress in any way, causing her to have a tense standoff with the woman. Grifter, however, offers up the red keycard, saying that he can pay them back with interest. Later in the Gotham sewers, Vale gets ready to take the heroes to their escape plan. She tells Grifter that this doesn't make them even, but he thinks it does, but Vale hopes that he better not double cross her since she will kill him. She tells him to keep his hands away from his gun since her men are a mite jumpy, but Cole is more worried about the Croc than them. But Luke knows that the Croc is just a myth. Luke thinks that they are just going to sail out of Gotham, but Cole says that they will just be blown out of the water instantly. But Huntress has a way out, which he doesn't know about yet since he would have left ages ago with it. Luke thinks the man's attitude is just an act, despite Cole saying that it's not, but Luke says the man gave up his money to get him out of the city and it means a lot to him. Cole says that he can't make up for what he did to his father and family, but if he can get Luke home, he wants Luke to tell Lucius that he tried. Soon they arrive at the dock where Huntress shows them the stealth submarine made by Lucius Fox and how it's untraceable by the magistrate and peacekeepers and it will get them to safety in no time. Suddenly there is an explosion as the magistrate and peacekeepers arrive. Luke apologizes, revealing that he has betrayed them to Peacekeeper 8. Grifter points a gun at Luke, who says that it's just a job and it's not personal, disarming the man quickly, saying he wasn't his target, just a means to an end. Cole is angered that he was used to get the Huntress, but Luke tells him to stop with the self-pity since no one cares about him. Luke easily beats down Cole, telling him to get to the sub and leave Gotham. He offers Cole his hand, apologizing that he had to give up his money, but all anyone cares about is the Queen of Clubs, and they got her now. Grifter kicks Luke away, getting into the sub, but before he hits the launch button, he stops himself. Helena, meanwhile, is defeated by Peacekeeper 8 as Cole arrives, firing on his men and kicking the Peacekeeper down. Cole is thrown into the ground, allowing him to grab his gun again and fire at the Peacekeeper's belt that fell off, blowing up the grenades on it and causing the villain to be covered in fire. Grifter leads Huntress to the sub as the Peacekeeper burns, giving her the money he was going to give Vale, revealing that he gave the criminal an empty keycard, and if they survive this, she's going to kill him. Helena wonders why he's giving her this as he cold cocks her against the head, knocking her out and back down into the sub, which he sets onto autopilot, leaving to allow the sub to escape with Helena aboard. Grifter, however, is blown away by the now melted Peacekeeper 8, who somehow survived the explosion and fire, telling the hero that he has lost. Cole laughs though as Huntress escapes into the water and Luke arrives, saying that they were going to let him go in exchange for Huntress. So what the hell was Grifter thinking letting her go, since now he is going to spend a long time in Blackgate?